Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Green Up Now podcast. And today we're diving deep into the rise and fall of one of the most beloved series on PlayStation, SOCOM. Strap in as we explore the history and unravel the mystery behind the downfall of the SOCOM series. To understand the demise of SOCOM, we need to go back to its origins. Developed by Zipper Interactive, SOCOM, short for Special Operations Command, debuted in 2002 on the PlayStation 2.
SOCOM U.S. Navy SEALs is a military action strategy game in which you play a team of SEAL special forces that goes out and has to rid the world of terrorism.
I think it differs from some of the other action games that are out there. In terms of the degree, it depends on real-life strategies used by the special forces, and the fact that it depends so much on team play as opposed to individual play.
It revolutionized the tactical shooter genre by offering an intense multiplayer experience and realistic military gameplay. Players formed squads, strategized, and engaged in intense battles across a range of missions and maps. The first few iterations were critical and commercial successes. They captured the imaginations of gamers with their innovative gameplay and immersive environments.
I think the important part of SOCOM is the fact that it's not just a run-and-gun, shoot-'em-up style game. It's actually about you and your Navy SEAL team of four going carefully through an environment in performing objectives to fulfill a mission. So rather than typical run around and shoot everything, it's really half about stealth. The way the Navy SEALs tend to operate is that they want to be stealthy for as long as they can, and then when they get to their objectives, they try to accomplish it as quick as possible.
SOCOM was created in cooperation with U.S. Navy Special Warfare Command. It was really important to the Navy that if we were going to create a game based on the U.S. Navy SEALs, that we would create an authentic experience.
One of the most rewarding aspects of the game has been able to work directly with the SEAL teams. We've been fortunate in terms of having the cooperation from the Admiral on down, and have had a wide range of access to the SEAL resources.
Fans were hungry for more, and Sony recognized the series' potential, leading to the release of SOCOM III. SOCOM III introduced new features like larger maps, expanded multiplayer modes, and improved graphics. It aimed to push the boundaries of the series, but it also marked the beginning of its decline. Some fans felt that the game moved away from its tactical roots, embracing a more action-oriented approach.
The original SOCOM started out as a game of, as a single-player game primarily, and we were able to add in the multiplayer aspect, 16-player game, and quickly realized how exciting and fun that was to play. Its progression, I guess, into SOCOM II addressed a lot of the technical issues and continued to add more additional maps for everybody to play on. And finally, SOCOM III, we crossed a couple of technical hurdles and managed to get 32 players in the game simultaneously, as well as being able to handle wide, vast areas to play in.
We tried to put a whole bunch of new content into the game. We really tried to add a bunch of new features. And the main challenge associated with that was just the amount of time it took to implement those features and make sure that they integrated themselves well with the game. And with additions like vehicles, swimming, customizable weapons, a whole new user interface, bigger levels, I mean the list goes on, and there's just a whole bunch of key new things that really make the game much more enjoyable as opposed to the predecessors.
In the beginning, we kind of built areas of the world that were in one central kind of island location. We've got the technology now in SOCOM III to span multiple islands, and that's a streaming technology that Zipper had come up with that kind of allowed us to create totally different looks within the same mission. So you could go from places like a complete desert environment to coming into a village and then going back into the desert and then back into something like a Moroccan market, all in the same mission. So that's kind of a new challenge for us to do.
The thing that really sets SOCOM III apart from the competition is that it appeals to a wide, broad audience. I've seen other tactical games out there that maybe aren't very realistic, and therefore it's a more casual game. And then maybe other games where they're so realistic, it's like you're gonna go hide in a bush for 4 hours and maybe you get to fight one bad guy or something. So I think SOCOM does a great job of offering choices to the player and letting them play the game how they want to. If they want to be tactical and hardcore, we let them do that. If they want to be a little more run and gun, they'll have a tougher time beating the game, but they can do that as well. So I think that's one of the really great things that sets the game apart. Another thing is, I think we have a great equal emphasis on both single player and multiplayer. Particularly in this latest game, we tried to add a bunch of new single player features. So I think it's almost like you're getting two complete games. I know I played in other games out there where the game really shines in one area or the other, and I think SOCOM 3, we really tried to bring the single player up to the multiplayer level of gameplay.
Despite this, SOCOM 3 still garnered positive reviews and maintained a dedicated fan base. Following the release of SOCOM 3, Zipper Interactive continued to experiment with the formula. U.S. Navy SEALs Combined Assault hit the shelves in 2006, attempting to blend single-player and multiplayer experiences. However, this departure from the series' core gameplay mechanics failed to resonate with fans and didn't reach the same level of success as its predecessors. In 2008, U.S. Navy SEALs Confrontation arrived as an exclusive title for the PlayStation 3. Developed by Slant 6 Games, this entry aimed to revive the series and bring it into the next generation. Unfortunately, it was marred by technical issues, including glitches, server problems, and a lack of content at launch. These setbacks led to a poor reception, causing many longtime fans to lose faith in the franchise. Despite the stumble with Confrontation, fans were eagerly awaiting the next installment that would reclaim the glory of the early SOCOM games. However, their hopes were dashed when in 2011, Zipper Interactive released SOCOM IV.
Houston, we have a problem.
Zipper Interactive has a great history of really being on the cutting edge when it comes to technology.
SOCOM came out back in 2002, and at the time it was known as the premier online game for the PlayStation 2. And with SOCOM 4, we really wanted to bring the whole complete package to the PlayStation 3.
The exciting thing about making SOCOM 4 for the PS3 is just the power of the system and how we're able to harness that to make the overall game more immersive, starting with the graphics.
You'll see so much more atmosphere and more realistic lighting and lens flares and everything that we weren't really able to do in previous platforms.
We're going to secure the village north of here and then move out.
Are you crazy?
We're focusing a lot more on the single-player experience, and we came up with a whole new cinematic engine, so we're able to tell and render in real time a very compelling story.
Here's his pen. Make sure you stab him with it.
And then it also translates to our advanced AI. We're able to do things with the enemy AI squad tactics that make the game much more dynamic. Depending on if you come in guns blazing or maybe take more of a stealth approach, the enemy is going to change the way they react to you.
SOCOM 4 also has a very robust audio engine. We have proximity chat, so if somebody's behind you and they're talking to a teammate, you'll actually hear the voice from your surround sound speakers behind you. The power of the PlayStation 3 not only allowed us to push the graphics in the game, but also the audio and other areas of it as well. And the gun sounds. I love those gun sounds.
One of the things we really wanted to focus on for SOCOM 4 was telling a more cinematic narrative.
You've got a problem with authority, and that makes you a wild card. That gets people killed.
Push the storytelling to realms that SOCOM game hasn't yet seen.
You and I are nothing alike.
If we provide an authentic experience, it's going to feel real. It's going to hit you in the gut.
Okay, this is NATO Operations Commander. What's your status?
Having the Operations Commander be our central character, we're able to tell his personal story and the story of his teammates and how they work together as a squad.
In SOCOM 4, you're in charge of 5 characters. The first character is OpsCom.
Wells is kind of your grizzled veteran. He's seen it all, he's done it all. He's actually Ops Commander's right-hand man.
There's also Schweitzer. He's kind of the beast on the group. His job is to suppress the enemy.
A little bit later on in the campaign, you'll actually meet Chung and 45.
45 is a special operations soldier from Korea, and her specialty is covert actions. She's very good at close quarters combat.
Let's see if you're as good as you say you are.
I'm better.
The Korean Special Forces actually do have female operatives within their ranks as well, so keeping with that authenticity.
We're here to link up with the 45th Recon Detachment. Where's your commanding officer?
You're looking at it. I'm the only officer left.
The player is the leader of a special forces unit caught in a civil war in South Asia.
Now you can fall in with me, or wait here for help that isn't coming.
Everything goes wrong, and they have to extract themselves, and if they can, complete the mission that they came in to do.
Understood.
We've tried to minimize the on-screen HUD and have more big events throughout the environment, again, to get you feeling like you're really in the field in Southeast Asia and experiencing this SOCOM story.
In order to have a thinking man shooter, you must also have an enemy that thinks. And that's exactly what we provide to the player.
The AI is constantly changing their tactics based on the player's playstyle.
No matter what the player does, the enemy AI will have an answer.
It is so reactive that it actually makes you have to retreat and fall back. And the first time we saw this, I think we were all kind of surprised as developers. Whoa, I actually had to regroup my squad, fall back and reposition them to deal with these enemies coming at me.
It's not enough to simply shoot straight, but to also think smart.
It's all about teamwork and tactics and authenticity.
And that's a key differentiator between our game and maybe something that someone else has to offer.
This iteration, while showcasing improved graphics and an engaging single-player campaign, further deviated from the tactical gameplay that had made the series a household name. It focused more on scripted set pieces and linear levels, alienating the core fan base that craved the strategic depth of previous titles.
The Move controller, we're able to very precisely aim at areas on the screen and target enemies, take them out, give your team commands, and it really, is a whole new way of playing a tactical shooter like SOCOM.
Something a lot of people have been asking for is, when can I hold it like a gun? And the sharpshooter allows you to do that.
You put the Move controller into the sharpshooter along with the navigation controller, and you hold it like you would hold an assault rifle.
SOCOM IV would be the last mainline entry in the series. So what led to the downfall of the SOCOM series? It seems a combination of factors contributed to its demise. The series strayed from its tactical roots, attempting to appeal to a broader audience and compete with other blockbuster shooters. This shift alienated the dedicated fan base that had supported the series from its inception. Furthermore, technical issues, such as server problems and glitches, plagued some of the later entries, undermining the gameplay experience and eroding player confidence. The absence of a consistently high-quality SOCOM title, coupled with the closure of Zipper Interactive, further diminished the chances of a successful revival. While the SOCOM series may have faded from the spotlight, its impact on the gaming industry cannot be overlooked. It laid the foundation for future tactical shooters and pioneered the way for multiplayer experiences on consoles. As we wrap up this episode of the Green Up Now podcast, let's remember the exciting moments and intense firefights SOCOM provided over the years.